Hey everybody, welcome back. We know the White Lotus. I am Rob Cesternino, and I am back here for another treatment for our guided meditation through episode 2 of season 3 of the White Lotus here with our instructor, Josh Wigler.
I'm very, very happy to welcome you all back to the We Know the White Lotus podcast here on RHAP. We Know Scripted TV. Now, I know some podcasts out there can be a real bummer, but it is my personal guarantee that every single one of our We Know the White Lotus podcasts will have a happy ending. It will always be upbeat.
Okay. Nice.
We're always going to give you special podcasts.
Always. I was going to say that, hey, the White Lotus podcast here is a little bit like having sex in Thailand. Sometimes it gets nuts.
It gets nuts in here.
It gets nuts in here.
Nuts.
But, in all seriousness, you know what they say? We're going to give you everything up front because the bigger the front, the bigger the back, they say.
That's right. And I felt particularly called out there. It's like,
yes.
I mean, I think my booty is a little big. I think I got big booty. I don't know. Should I text my wife?
Do you have the BBE?
Big booty energy?
Mm-hmm.
Emily, do I have a big booty? Let's ask.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Do I have big booty energy? Let's see what she says. I also asked her, do you know what bukkake is?
No.
All right, I won't say that.
Let's go off on the. I mean, we're not even off on the right foot yet, but let's try to.
Episode 2, White Lotus, season 3.
Yes.
The Thailand extravaganza continues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, hold on. Hey, what's that racket? I'm sorry. One of my kids is looking for a blender. We're trying to do a podcast in here.
I have an update on my question. Emily's response is, it's not as bulbous as I'd like it to be.
Oh, okay. Well, that was
all right. So we got room to grow.
You didn't have to go so hard.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got to work on my bulbous butt.
All right.
Oh, she says, but I think it's perfect, which seems like she's like making up for it after the fact.
Josh, we are 25% of the way here into the White Lotus season 3, and 2 episodes are down, and really a lot more intrigue here with these characters.
More intrigue, some action. We know that this season is building to gunshots of some kind at the White Lotus, Thailand. We don't know who's responsible. We don't know who shall fall victim. But I don't think it was on my bingo card that we would have like masked gunman in episode 2 of the White Lotus season 3. So yeah, this is already in some ways a more intense season of White Lotus than we're used to, I think.
Yeah, very intense so far. By the way, if you missed it, on Friday, we posted our interview with star of the White Lotus, Carl Boudreau. We got to talk about Carl's
Beach
experience.
Mode Cowboy. Yeah.
Yes, going from Survivor to the White Lotus. And he talked about his role and much more in a very fun interview. Of course, you could hear that in our podcast feed. Go to weknowscriptedtv.com for that. All right. So Josh, we've been talking through the characters here on the show, and let's jump back in with our family unit, the Ratliffs. They're going through it.
Yeah. Our family emphasis on unit, I think, with some of these dorks. They are going through it. Each Ratliff seems to have something very, very specific going on with each one of them. Obviously, big old Timothy seems like he's in a real spot of bother based on that phone call with his buddy Kenny. And now he's getting hounded not just by Wall Street Journal. The Washington Post is coming for him as well.
Yeah.
Bezos is coming for his head. Is Bezos one of those boring bald guys?
No, he's not boring anymore. No, he's changed that up. Yeah.
So he's in big doo-doo. Victoria is just out here popping pills, trying to relax, and also like sort of being very cagey about this charity event that occurred 10 years ago where, I'm sorry, I know that Bai Ling isn't here, but am I watching Lost? Because the missed connections between Victoria and Kate is so Jack and Claire. So very interesting.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I know you were. And those two people know each other. So very excited to figure out what's going on there. And then like the Sibs. Some weird stuff going on here with the Sibs, I think.
Yeah, so I was really there was a lot of discourse last week about like, is there an incest storyline here on the White Lotus season 3? And then also, you are on the blue sky, but I'm, you left me to sort of fend for my own here on the X.com. People are
My boy, you can leave
wilding out here on the X.com. And a lot of people were very much like talking about a potential incest storyline between Saxon and Lachlan. And not in like scolding, like, okay, I'm here for it. Let's go.
Okay,
a lot of people were very much here for that big Lannister energy.
Well, that's it, like, right? But it's not incest. It's HBO.
Yeah. Include Piper in all this too, because where is she fitting into this?
I do think that we could potentially be looking at an incest throuple. I do think that that's possible. Because it's
not off the table. I don't think we're gonna get there.
I think it could be on the table. Whether it's on its back or its stomach is another question. But like Lachlan and Piper are gonna be in the hammocks in this episode, and he's gonna like be very weird about the sex stuff with her. And is he just like weird about the sex stuff generally? Or is there some sort of weird triumvirate cooking up here in the Ratliff clan?
Okay, so
I think Victoria feels very Cersei to me. She feels extremely Cersei coded.
One thing about Victoria, about Mom Ratliff, Saxon is going to say some things that are way out of pocket, and she laughs like she is tickled. Like I am like watching the show. I'm like, oh my god, did he just say that? And she's like, oh my god, Saxon, come on.
So I have to tell you, I think that the Ratliff family and the Lannisters map onto each other rather neatly. But I think you have to do it as like the Baratheon Lannisters, because I don't see Timothy as a Jaime Lannister necessarily. I think like he's the king, former champion.
Oh, no, he's Tywin Lannister.
No, he's Big Bobby B. He's Big Bobby B, and it seems like he's just gotten skewered by a boar, and we're going to have to watch him die across these next episodes, as he's just found out that, like, they're coming. The feds, they're on their way. Elon's brought his guys. They're coming in. They're closing in. Windows tightening. The noose is tightening. So I feel like he's been gored by a boar. Victoria is clearly Cersei. Sounds like Patty Schwartz is our Joffrey here. Just like sort of like a twisted dude, kind of wants to just like screw anything that moves. I think like Piper, like who did Marcella ever bother? Nobody. But might just get caught in the crossfire of being a Ratliff. And then Lachlan is like a sweet little Tommen if Tommen wanted to maybe boink Joffrey. So I think very Lannister coded, the Ratliffs.
Okay, so in this episode, we're going to see everybody go through very kind of similar days, similarly structured days, at least, with going down their own different paths. We're going to see more naked Patrick Schwarzenegger. The second episode in a row that we see Patrick Schwarzenegger.
His
we talked about the back.
Yeah, it's his little tush. We see Patrick Schwarzenegger's tush and like a little crevasse work too. I feel like we're in that scene long enough, and like you're in the abyss. So Lachlan's getting a good look at Patrick Schwarzenegger. You imagine Arnold is watching this on a Sunday. Oh my God, I can't believe he did nude scenes 2 episodes in a row. You never.
And then he's talking about that the happy ending and all of the things is too much.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger is loving watching this. I got to imagine he's like, oh my God, it was so funny when you popped wood at the spa. It was so funny when you had boner under your blanket. What do you mean you expect a happy ending just because you're in Thailand? The apple does not fall far from the tree. I also expect that in Thailand.
All right.
I imagine he's loving it. So,
just in talking through the Ratliff's family, let's go to Victoria. That she has this very awkward moment, and we're not there yet to talk about the girls' trip, the victory tour.
But the girls' trip leaks into the Ratliff trip in this episode a little tiny bit.
So you mentioned Kate, a different Kate, who has says, "Hey, is your name Victoria?" Now you said that they were at a charity function together. I thought she said that they were at a baby shower together.
Oh, I think that's right. But doesn't Victoria? Does somebody say it was like a charity thing, or did I just write that down wrong? I'm
not sure.
But in any event, 10 years ago, these two people crossed paths, and is Kate's haircut just so dramatic that you don't recognize Kate, or is there another reason, or is this just how she treats people?
Well, I don't know. Is Victoria just totally just tripping out and is just like so high on all of these pills that she just genuinely doesn't remember, or is she lying?
Right. That's the question. So like, I think there's a few possibilities that amount to she's lying. And if she's lying, why? What did she do? Did Victoria do something verboten at this baby shower? And I don't even know what's
one baby bingo.
Is that what happens at these things? Baby bingo?
I mean, that happens at a baby shower. Yeah.
So maybe she wanted to win baby bingo and Kate won and Victoria's nursed a grudge. Did something what happened at the baby shower? Did something happen at the baby shower? That's a question that we have. Is it that she's all cracked out because she's talking to her?
That's where I lean. I lean a little bit more like, I do not think that Victoria has like this picture perfect memory. I think that maybe she's seen some stuff with the Timothy storyline with her husband. Maybe she knows like this family's not as perfect as it should be, and maybe is self-medicating or going to doctors to medicate.
Unrelatable content. Yeah.
I feel like that maybe that she is just on another planet.
She might be on another planet, but she also might be on another planet purely on that like wealthy Lannister stratosphere. Recall that the Lannisters also gave no shits about the common folk. And even if Kate's not common folk, let's call her a Tyrell. Let's say that she's of Highgarden fame, Rob.
Yeah.
That she is like an adjacent wealthy house. I think that Cersei mean mugs Marjorie quite a bit. So is this just some sort of like, you don't really matter to me?
I don't think so. I don't think that they're from like this other station that Kate wouldn't also be at. Like maybe if it was Lori, the Carrie Coon character, I don't know. Maybe she might see the. But she also seems like another like wealthy lady in a similar social circle. I mean, they literally went to the same baby shower together. Yes. So I don't think that it's necessarily like I'm up here and you're down here. Like, why are you talking to me at this resort? Okay, so I don't get that from her.
So then let's work in the world where she's just cracked out.
Yeah.
That's not a good situation to be in, considering all of the stuff that's bubbling up in Timothy's world.
Yeah. She's just so out there. Some of the things that she said, and I went back, I watched the first episode again. There's the one scene where she's at dinner and she's asking the daughter, like, can you scratch my arm? She's just so odd.
Yes. Yeah. That Parker Posey is perfect casting. I think she has she just has that like no one can really mean girl the way that she mean girls. And I think that like when she has this moment where she tells like the siblings, like, you all have to get along. You're all gorgeous. You all come from money. You're going to have to be vigilant and on your guard. There's just like sort of this like,
you need your family. Most people don't have good values. They're scammers.
Yeah, she's concerned.
You have to be hyper vigilant.
She's concerned about all these.
You have to be on your guard.
She's very concerned about the scammers. And she tries to like tell them like
another Klonopin.
Even if you all don't like each other now, you will someday. My brother, what was his name? Uncle Uncle Bob or I don't know what her brother's name was. It was like Uncle Bob used to like hawk loogies down at me and threaten to like have the loogie fall upon my face. And then
now they're very close.
And he'd slurp it right back up, and now we're close. Does that sound like your sibling dynamic, Rob? Is that how it's gone for you in the Cesternino clan? You guys used to hawk loogies on each other? But
I've never had like the spit bungee cord, like a drop down and then come back all the way up.
Yeah. So you don't have a special relationship with your sibs?
Not like that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
Not like
that. Okay. So we're seeing the Ratliffs.
I like your Parker Posey, by the way.
Yeah. I said, we should talk like her on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh my God. You guys are family.
You have to be hyper vigilant.
Yeah. She's, I think it's early days. As you say, we're still just, we're just 25% of the way, but we're also 25% of the way. 25% of the way through the White Lotus season 3 is Victoria, our front runner for a Tanya McQuad successor. Is she in the running to bring that Jennifer Coolidge energy that is missing right now?
I'd say of the cast members that we have, yeah.
It's her, yes.
Yes. Okay. So
she has to do more wackadoo stuff before she can really take that crown.
For sure. Everybody is getting their spot treatments. You mentioned Saxon at the massage table. Not that kind of place.
Yeah. Big boner. Yeah. He's expecting something that he's not gonna get.
And
is this a metaphor? Is this a metaphor?
Yes, it is. Because I think to channel Game of Thrones once again that whatever led you to believe these stories have a happy ending, you checked into the White Lotus, my guy.
Yeah. I don't think Saxon's gonna have a happy ending. Bold prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Though how satisfying if he does
unsatisfying
have a happy ending. Yes, I guess the question is, what are we edging towards? Because this seems like we're edging towards something with Saxon, Rob. Are we edging towards the edge of a cliff?
Well, I don't know exactly where his story lies, but it does feel like that we got a little bit of, and we'll get into it later, that the friend, Chelsea's friend Chloe, does seem to, she does take an eye to Saxon. I wonder if these two are going to cross paths at some point.
Yeah. Like
he hasn't found a willing lady at the White Lotus yet.
It is a numbers game, and he has flirted with every single woman on the show so far, excluding basically Belinda, I feel like, and some of the hotel staff. So none of them have been receptive, but Chloe seems like maybe this could be fun. So if we're gonna if Saxon's got a shot at anybody out here other than in his own family, I think it's Chloe.
Let's talk about the patriarch of the Ratliffs, Timothy. We know that he was on the phone with the reporters last week, and stuff is going down. He opts out. He doesn't go for one of Pam's treatments. He's going to run on the treadmill, but we will see him throughout the episode taking these calls, which ultimately culminate in his call to Kenny. Oh my God, they're going to kill Kenny.
You bastards. But he tells Kenny, like, just go ahead and do it, stupid Kenny. He hates Kenny. So it seems like we're getting a little bit of clarity. Some, details still very vague, but the basic shape of it seems to be shady investment, illegal investment that seemed low risk goes horribly awry as Timmy's colleague, Kenny, with whom he only made $10 million. It's not worth going to prison over, but it seems like he will be going potentially to jail as soon as he sets foot back at the United States. Are the Ratliffs just going to move here? What are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to go back to be a Tar Heel or go to Duke.
Yeah, I don't think that they really can.
Yeah. So we'll see what ultimately happens with Ratliff. Do you have a prediction of where this is going? Where Timothy is trying to get a lawyer.
Yeah, I wonder, is he going to get? I don't think that he has to get somebody on the phone in order to get a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Are there any lawyers in White Lotus season 1 or season 2?
I'm sure one of those people was a lawyer. I don't remember. Scanning.
Mm-hmm.
No lawyers detected. But my radar might be off. It may be broken, my lawyer detector. We should ask at AC Mazzaro. We're talking White Lotus this weekend. It's actually, that podcast is available for you right now. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit more. But I would say that the thing that is both really difficult yet exciting at the same time is that Timothy he's on the absolute opposite end of the earth from where he needs to be in order to communicate with the people he needs to communicate with. So every episode, as we've noted, has sort of like a similar cadence. Is the Timothy cadence just going to be like every morning he'll wake up to either messages or nothing, and at night he'll get in touch with somebody? That's going to be exhausting for him, but might be delightful for us. That this could be like a very slow train wreck that we'll be watching Timothy conduct across these episodes.
Okay.
No happy endings for Timothy.
Doesn't seem like it.
No.
We mentioned a little bit that the relationship between Victoria and Saxon, when he's talking about how unsatisfying his massage was, she's just laughing as he's like raging, like looking for a blender.
Yes, he needs a blender. It's for his smoothies. It's not about the taste. It's about the pump.
The pump.
I'm going to pump you up.
Yeah, my son, he doesn't even care about the taste of the milkshake.
The apple protein shake doesn't fall far from the blender.
So I told my son, go find out if they have a rowing machine.
I used to row all the time. I actually saw a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger in his old Monera doing some rows. So he's still a rower, big rowing guy.
Okay.
Arnie Schwartz.
All right.
I really would love to see him on the White Lotus if we could get him to cameo.
That'd be incredible.
That'd be unbelievable.
All right. Piper and Lachlan, they have a conversation in the hammocks, and going back to the first season of the White Lotus, like there was a little like Sydney Sweeney and her brother in the show, like they had some like weird, awkward conversations.
Yes, they did. I don't think incest was on the table back then.
No, it seemed like, she really seemed like she hated his guts.
Yeah, full mean girl.
Yeah.
And just like,
was really grossed out.
She forced him basically to sleep in like that little kitchen, the kitchenette. Yeah. No, she was not a particularly kind sibling.
Okay, and this conversation will ultimately turn to sex and what Saxon said. But prior to the sex, they talk a little bit about praying and God. Is there a presence? Do you think it's wishful thinking?
Yes. So Piper says that she feels a presence when she prays. Lachlan feels nothing. No presence. Nothing when he prays. And he was in like you're an occasional meditator, Rob. I feel like he was in potentially like a terrific meditation situation. He was in like the sensory deprivation water tank.
Yeah.
If you lean into that and if you do that right, assumedly you'll zen all the way out. You'll just like go deep down into that ocean of subconscious thought. And still nothing for Lachlan.
Nothing.
So does that mean he has no soul?
I don't know what that means, but I am interested, in this world created by Mike White. I think it's very fun when we talk about media to explore sort of like the worldview of this. And, the White Lotus is a pretty deep show, unlike The Water that Lachlan was in. But do you feel like that in this world, is there a God in the world of the White Lotus? And is that going to ultimately play a part? Like, is there fate and destiny here of some sort of like guiding force of an all-knowing Mike White in the sky that is ultimately going to guide the fates of people like Greg and Belinda?
Okay, so first of all, do not mistake coincidence for fate. Second of all, well, let's say we got to cast God. We got to cast God now. If God exists in the White Lotus, who's playing God? Because I want to believe that God exists for sure in the White Lotus universe, because that's a clean pathway to reintroduce Jennifer Coolidge as God. That like Tanya McGod. I'm Tanya McGod. I'm responsible for all of creation. On the first day, I created my ties. On the second day, I created my mother. You know, I would love to see Tanya McGod. I think Tanya McGod would be good.
Yeah. Wow.
Angelic.
I mean, if a character dies and then goes goes to heaven and meets Tanya.
All of the characters who die on the White Lotus being eligible to go to that great White Lotus in the sky and then commune with us from there. Wow. Sign me all the way up. Murray Bartlett, bring him back. Murray Bartlett seems like the devil, though. So if God exists, it's probably Tanya McQuad. And if the devil exists, it's Murray Bartlett's character from season 1. I think is probably how that goes. Do you think that God is canonical in the universe of the White Lotus?
I think
a higher
so.
Power?
I think so. Something that connects all of the White Lotuses.
That's great. That's great.
Okay.
Which survivor should play? Would Mike White cast a cameo as God?
We already used Angelina as a character in canon.
Yep, she's taken. Maybe the mayor of Slamtown. I'm the mayor of Godtown.
Yeah, Natalie Cole could have been good also in that part.
Yeah. I think so.
All right. The Ratliffs at dinner. Saxon is talking about some of the lady boys in Thailand. Is this foreshadowing? Are we going to? Is this going to be a storyline that comes up?
It's hard to know if this is like foreshadowing that, or if it's just like shitty Americans with shitty Thailand stereotypes, and we're just like poking fun at that, like the types of stuff that Mike White loves to do on his like Americans Go on Tour travel show. He loves to highlight the ways that these people just like don't care about the way that like things work in the country that they're visiting, or just like are thoughtless or careless or whatever. So it could just be that. Or that's what Saxon is on a collision course with. He's going to open up the box of chocolates and call walnuts, peanuts, some kind of nuts he's going to get when he takes a big old bite.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the Ratliff family? We talked about Timothy's unsettling phone call. The episode ends on the Ratliff family, that Timothy is overhearing the family as they're retiring for the night. Yes. Saxon is saying something about a tsunami.
Yes. So Saxon says something about a tsunami. He relates the story of a girl who was able to save everyone from a tsunami, which is it appears to be a real story, Rob. This is according to the Red Cross themselves, that there was a 10-year-old girl named Tilly Smith who learned about tsunamis in school. She's a little English girl, and because she had learned about tsunamis in school, she remembered that tsunamis cause strong waves by undersea earthquakes. They travel very fast. They were on the beach during this hotel. She told her whole family, "We got to go. We got to go right now." And so they went back to their hotel. They told the staff. The staff ran out to the beach, told everyone to get away from the beach. And then minutes later, a tsunami rolled up on the beach. 10-year-old Tilly Smith saves the day. This is a true story.
Yeah. Okay. So is this foreshadowing in some way? And because we know that in the White Lotus, there are things that are clues to what will happen later. For instance, we had where the the Michael Imperioli family went to go see the Godfather,
house. Yeah.
museum, right?
Yeah.
And that the dress that
Yes.
Apollonia is wearing is also the same dress that Tanya is wearing when she dies, correct?
Yeah.
So like there are little like Easter eggs that are going to point us in the direction. Are any of these stories, such as this story of a tsunami, or at least a warning of a disaster?
Yes, a warning of a disaster for sure. This is our disaster warning. I think a tsunami is coming for the Ratliffs, whether it's a literal tsunami or a federal tsunami.
Yeah.
I think at the very least a federal tsunami is coming their way. So this family, I think, like, one of the things that's compelling about watching their storyline right now is they still think that they're like this perfect family unit that can't be touched. And it sounds like utter disaster is coming their way.
We were not hyper vigilant.
And so they weren't hyper vigilant, and they've been taken by scammers, but the scam was coming from inside the house. It seems like via Timothy.
I only made $10 million from this stupid deal.
Yeah, can you imagine? Would you go to jail for $10 million? Depends on how long.
Would I go to jail for $10 million?
Yeah.
What kind of jail?
Yeah,
for how long?
Like just like cushy prison. Let's call it cushy prison for 2 years. You make $10 million off that. Are you committing the crime?
I've maintained for a long time that if it was like a nice, like, listen, Gen Pop,
You're not
my
doing
scene.
great in Gen Pop. Bernie Schillinger has got you. You don't want to be involved.
Right. But some sort of like cushy prison. I think I would do well with all that structure.
Yeah, I think you would too. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I think of most of the people in my life that I know who would excel in prison. You're high on my list.
Yeah. So
I think like in good cushy jail, I think you do quite well.
Yeah, but
in scary devil jail, you're done. You're toast.
Not good. That's not good. That's
not good. Bad situation.
What are you gonna do? All right.
But yeah. So I think the question is, well, what is Jason Isaacs going to do, right? What is Timmy going to do? Is Timmy going to be little Timmy, 10-year-old Timmy Smith instead of Tilly Smith? Is he going to warn his family a tsunami is coming? Or will he tell them and it's too late? That's the question that I have. Literal tsunami, I feel like even on HBO, and of course, Beach Mode Cowboy Carl told us that the budget and like the expanse just explodes beyond the scope of what he experienced on Survivor. Even then, creating a tsunami, this is big effects. I don't know that we're going to literal tsunami.
I'd be surprised if we have a literal tsunami. I think a figurative one is certainly in the cards.
Yes.
Let's talk about the girls' trip. We learned a lot about the Victory Tour, and this was an interesting night for the three friends of Jacqueline, Kate, and Lori. And the episode kind of has this interesting bookends with them, where the night starts with us seeing Jacqueline and Kate really talking crap about Lori and her like maybe she doesn't quite look so good. She has a divorce that got gnarly. Her daughter is she got kicked out of schools. She's a bruiser. She throws furniture.
She throws furniture, so presumably she throws fists.
And you know how it is in New York with the kids.
Yeah, you can't raise them here. You can't.
They're all special time for the 8-year-olds.
There's only cars and mean people. There are zero parks and opportunities for physical activity and to interact with other people. So is dangerous. So she
drinks too much.
Don't raise them here. Yeah, she drinks too much. So
she didn't get partner.
So we're going like I haven't seen her in 4 years, which is interesting, right? She says, I don't think I've seen her in 4 years. Jacqueline got married within the last year.
Yeah.
These are her closest friends. Lori didn't go to Jacqueline's wedding.
Josh, did you watch the SNL 50th anniversary?
I absolutely did.
Yeah. I really feel like that we get with the three friends, like anytime two of them are alone, it's like they did the sketch they did, the Fred Armisen and Vanessa Bayer, the best friends growing up of the person, of like, we love Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Jacqueline is the,
But
actually,
like
she does this thing.
yeah,
It's
she does kind of
kind
smell.
of,
She has
yeah.
sort of a stench. Yeah.
Her face kind of
It's
looks like it got a little
and she used to have the
sandblasted.
face that everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that about Michelle Monaghan. She still has a wonderful face.
Mm-hmm.
So and then by the end of the episode, it's Kate with Lori. And so
Yeah.
what I love about the symmetry of this is that the Kate and Jacqueline conversation starts positive, moves negative, right? Like we start with like glowing reviews of Lori that slowly go to, well, actually, you know, Lori kind of is like having to pay alimony, maybe not that rich anymore, and also like is she just drinking too much? All of that stuff. With Lori and Kate, when they're alone together, Lori goes straight for the jugular and says, "What a narcissist! Did you see her today?
She's so funny.
She's so funny." And then they go positive, like, "Oh, but you know, I still love her," and all of that. So it's like they're two sides of the same coin with Kate in the middle. So like, if this is like old school Survivor, and we're at a final 3. And somebody has to choose who moves on to the final tribal. It seems like Kate is wearing the immunity necklace right
Kate
now.
is great. Until, do you think that we will get Jacqueline and Lori at some point crap talking about Kate?
That's a good question. Like, it depends on what this storyline is. Is it about like Kate caught in the middle between two friends that she's just, why can't we all just get along? Is it this story of the rivalry between Jacqueline and Lori? Or is it a story about how all of these people are messy and none of them have their crap together and they all have pot shots to take at each other? A potential fly in the ointment is this Valentine. Sexy Valentine. We're trying to pair off Lori and Sexy Valentine. My Sexy Valentine.
Well, she's single, but we kind of don't know what Jacqueline's situation is. That she doesn't even seem to live in the same city, even though she's obsessed with her husband, who she never ends up seeing, and is much younger than her. So we'll see with Valentine. Now, I thought this was interesting. Valentine does the biomarkers. We see the conversation he has with Lori, and he tells her about how she looks like, has the biomarkers of somebody half her age, what a specimen, under 25% body fat. Yes. And so then we find out that he basically used all the same lines on Jacqueline.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, Kate, he said, "Oh no, you're just average.
You're average, Kate."
So is this potentially a love triangle with Valentine? And does he have two favorites?
A non-incestual throuple. That's more my jam.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Valentine playing the field, keeping his options open, but took one look at Kate and was like, "Nah, not for me. That's not my type."
Yeah. Now,
I like
Valentine,
Kate when she had her original hair.
Josh, Valentine was at the gate when the bad guys came in.
Yes.
Do you think was Valentine involved with the masked gunman?
Interesting.
Was he part of the diversion of like okay, let me hold up. So he goes
to guy talk to like to have some guy talk and in the process distract him long enough, keep the thing open long enough for the car to come in. Yeah, that would be the move.
You said don't mistake fate for coincidences. Which was this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think that Valentine has they made a real meal out of. They made a real meal out of that in the first episode.
And he's handsome.
He's handsome and he's Russian. And then just lingering on that beat of like, why is it important that Valentine is Russian? If not to arouse suspicion, perhaps. So are we rightly suspicious, but being led the wrong way? I do think there's I'd be curious to sort of sort through who else could be involved in this, but of people we know on the show that could be involved in this, 2 people, maybe 3 come to mind right now. And I think Valentine is one of them for certain. Yeah.
Well, season 1 of The White Lotus, I'm just thinking back that there wasn't too much of a dark underbelly of nefarious.
No, but Paula, and I forget the name of the man who worked there. That like she wanted like justice for the Hawaiian people, so like steal everything from this safe and like save your people type thing. So like we've been in the situation where like staff have made moves against the hotel. So that's happened before.
Right. But I feel like that season 2 really started to introduce between the murderous gays and the mafia, and there was a lot of like people that wore the black hat. And it does seem like that here in season 3, between all of the people here that do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, we have really, have reached like Mos Eisley levels of scum and villainy here at the White Lotus, Thailand.
Summon that Mos Eisley Cantina White Lotus theme mashup, please and thank you.
Yes.
The White Lotus Mos Eisley, don't want to go there.
Because I kind of felt like that the big song and dance number at the end of the episode a little bit was giving Jabba's palace.
Yeah, where's Salacious Crumb? I mean, that's the monkeys. They're all up there in the trees. A whole litany of Salacious Crumbs.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that you want to go to the White Lotus, Mos Eisley. It's a hive of scammers and villainy. You don't want to go there.
You need to be in hyperspeed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The women, they have their treatments. They all
that's the big stuff, I think, with them. I think like the big storyline that's going on with them right now is like Kate seems to have Victoria on her radar. Whether or not that's going to amount to much, we'll see.
Victoria, the owner.
Victoria, the matriarch.
I'm sorry. Yes.
So like Kate's got her eye on her. Sritala, the owner, has her eye on Jacqueline.
Jacqueline goes off with Sritala's book at the end of the episode. What did you make of that?
I made of it that she's doing that thing that people do. They say, "Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to read that. Send it to me," and then never do.
Was there anything with like I feel like she was like opening like the book, like the 2 covers, and it seemed like there was like the younger Sritala on like the front of the book and the older Sritala, and it seemed that she was flipping between those. Is she sort of like, is this my destiny? Is this where I'm headed?
Contemplating her own mortality. If that's where she's headed, she's got a bright future. She's going to be a hotelier and a performer at open mic night at her very own open mic white hotel. So if that's her destiny, I think Jacqueline should be pleased, but it seems like instead she's tasting lemons, Jacqueline Lemon. I just found it like she took the book, she said I'm gonna read it, and then like she's like, but I'm tired. Yeah. And this isn't that important anyway.
Yeah.
I think like it maybe underlines the idea that Jacqueline is like so many actors. They either end up hookers or they end up liars, professional liars.
That's true.
Those are the 2 options. Those are 2 paths as a thespian.
I'm serious.
I'm serious.
Okay. Let's then talk about Rick and Chelsea.
Yes.
Okay. Walton Goggins.
Carl's best friend, Walton Goggins.
Yes, Carl really hit it off.
Carl and Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins gave Carl like incredibly sage advice.
Deep down, he's a David.
I think Walton Goggins is for certain a David who's become a Goliath, but a David at heart. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And Rick is a real David. Rick is very much a David, and it kind of sounds like he is looking to slay Goliath, Rob.
Maybe,
or at least it sounds like Goliath slayed David Sr. Because we find out in this episode, Rick is gonna get like dragged to therapy, basically.
Yeah.
Men would rather go to Phuket, Thailand, and get tattooed by Ling than go to therapy. And Rick is going to open up about his very dark past.
Okay. All right. So while Chelsea is getting her treatment, Rick goes to meditation. He talks about his stress level. Can you retell his story?
Yes. His story is that when he first of all, Dr. Amrita asks him what his stress level is like on his scale of 0 to 10. He says like at any given time it's an 8.
Yeah.
So that's just like a good vibe check on
I get
Rick.
that.
I feel like you tell me if this sounds right, that like when you say what your number is on the scale of 0 to 10 of how stressed you are, you should probably add a number at least one. That like you're at least 1 point more stressed than you think you are. So if this dude's at an 8, he's actually at a 9. So Rick is super stressed out. Weed helps, but he didn't want to travel with the weed. His mother was a drug addict. She OD'd when he was 10. He never knew his father. He was murdered before Rick was born. And so Amrita's trying to convince Rick that like, well, you should be meditating. It can bring relief to psychic pain. Has that been your experience? Does meditation provide relief to psychic pain?
While I do attempt to meditate, I'm not that good at it. So unfortunately, I've not found any relief. I've
had really positive psychic pain purging therapy like meditations. And so
I love that for you.
I love it for me as well. I wish I could do it more often. And so I think that there's a lot of truth to what she's saying. But what he's basically saying is, I don't need that. Because I don't, if you're concerned about me as I'm too wrapped up in my own identity, don't sweat it. I got no identity. I don't have one. I am nothing. Nothing comes from nothing is what he tells Amrita. But she warns that nothing can be an identity. And this is driving
nothing means something.
This is driving the nihilists from Big Lebowski crazy, because if we believe in nothing, is believing in nothing their identity? So you actually do have an identity, your whole personality. Being nothing can't be your entire personality, I don't think. But for Walton Goggins, for Rick, seems like maybe it is.
Okay. Now, Josh, tell me, because I missed it, where did you get that the owner of the hotel killed his father?
I didn't get that, but I'm piecing these things together.
Oh.
He was pissed. He was pissed when he found out that this guy was not at the hotel. His spider sense tingled when he found out that the guy is in Bangkok. He's saying, I'm gonna go to Bangkok. He's here saying he's here for like private reasons he doesn't want to talk about. His father was murdered. He never knew him.
This
is feeling like my father. This is feeling like I wonder if like I think we speculated last week, is he like a hitman or something, or is he not that, and this is like some sort of like Ronin level vengeance quest that he's on? Is he the masterless samurai trying to take on is he the Inigo Montoya of the White Lotus looking for the six-fingered man? Christopher Guest could be the six-fingered man with a great working relationship with Parker Posey. You never know.
Chelsea is getting her treatment, and we see she tells the therapist that she's Enneagram 9.
Enneagram 9, that's right. Enneagram 9. And she thinks that her masseuse is a 2. Most healers are 2.
Is a healer. Yeah.
I've yet to confront the Enneagrams.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I already got this. I mean, look, Chappelle is the expert.
Yes, I know.
Because I too am Enneagram 9, but I believe Josh Wigler is Enneagram 1.
Ooh, Enneagram 1, first place finally. Jeez, wow. What happens at Enneagram 1? What are my strengths and weaknesses?
We don't have that kind of time on the podcast, but with offline, we can
get cool. And I'll just quickly search that to see if I just got massively shaded.
No, I don't think so.
Live on the podcast.
Okay. All right.
Conscientious and ethical with a strong sense of right and wrong. Blows up his survivor career over. Wait, why is that in the AI description? All right. Anyway, move it on.
Okay. So for Rick and Chelsea, Chelsea got a lot out of it. She loved it. Yeah, she was wise.
Chelsea's very open to the world. I love Chelsea. I'm really concerned that Chelsea could be one of these victims at the end of the show. She's like too pure for this world, and that scares me.
Mm-hmm. She goes very quickly again into the loop of like when is it Chloe that he's being rude to? She goes, oh, he has a migraine, jet lag. Like she covers
this is
for
after
him. He's
just like called her an idiot. Literally, he says like, "You're an idiot," is what he says to her. Not the nicest thing to say.
He's very jet lagged and he has a migraine.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Chloe and Chelsea, they hang out for a little bit, and Chloe says that Rick was cute for an older guy, so good on Walton Goggins.
Of course.
And she has Gary's credit card.
Gary. Gary? Is that what your name is, Mr. Greg? We're going by Gary. Gary. Come on. Gary, I'm sorry. I don't know what... Greg to Gary, was that a good alias switch?
I think the similar sound is like, oh yeah, I forgot. Hey, that's me.
Craig is right there. Just call me Craig.
All right.
Love to know what's on his list. Yeah. So, by the way, has Gary been spotted?
Yes. Belinda definitely clocks him.
Yeah. Belinda's at dinner. Carl and Natalie are not.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep watching.
But does Belinda even know that Tanya is RIP?
I have no idea.
Does she? I mean, is she on her mailing list? Like,
yeah. So here's what, as far as I've been able to track it, here's what we have of the timeline. She says, Belinda says it's been a hard couple of years in the first episode, right? It's been a full year since Gary moved here to Thailand. They've been here for a year. So that suggests that more than a year has passed since Tanya McGod went to heaven. How much time has passed? How closely was Belinda following any of this? I have no idea, but I would imagine if she was following it closely, then Gary would have pinged on her radar big time as Greg. Doesn't see like it had that same vibe of like Kate going up to Victoria of like, do I know you? It's like just shy of the going up to Victoria, do I know you energy of like, I feel like I've seen you before, but I can't quite place you. And we know nothing about Greg's spa treatment habits. So it's totally possible that she's had him on the table before on his back or on his stomach. If on his back, then maybe she recognizes his face particularly well.
Right. And we just don't even know like that if Belinda, she's not going to have a vendetta against Greg for Tanya.
No, probably not.
She may not even know Tanya's dead.
She might thank him.
Right. Like,
she might thank him. She'd be like, I really was not a fan either.
Yeah.
Got any extra cash lying around? Like, I feel like I'm owed a little restitution. So I don't know where it's going, but again, 25% of the way through season 3 of the White Lotus, and we're already connecting those wires. So it's early to do that if this isn't going to be a big, long plot.
If there's going to be any sort of vengeance for or justice for Tanya, I think it's going to be of the karmic variety and not of Belinda taking matters into her own hands. This will not be like a Kill Bill situation.
No, I think the Walton Goggins story could go to a Kill Bill situation, but I don't think that this one feels Kill Bill. That being said, we probably would have said that about Tanya McQuad and the gays who were trying to murder her, and that basically turned into The Bride versus Oren Ishii's entire Crazy 88. So is that what's going to happen here? I don't know.
Okay.
Probably not.
Josh, let's talk about, so Chelsea is in the gift shop when the masked gunman comes in and points a gun at her, ends up stealing a bunch of stuff.
I gotta say, I'm not even a big fan of the show, but I much prefer Masked Singer to Masked Gunman. I don't like if it was but what if it's a celebrity under there? What if it's a famous person?
Take it off. It off.
Who could be the famous person that Mike White cast as
Molly
the
Shannon?
Gunman? Molly Shannon back. Yeah, things went so bad with her son paying all of the legal fees for his manslaughtering of Murray Bartlett that she's had to resort to a life of petty crime,
Yeah.
jewel heists and such.
Okay, so ultimately, like for Chloe, she's definitely shaken up. She did get the room comped. She will tell to over dinner with Chelsea,
Bare
Chelsea,
minimum.
Rick, Greg, and Chloe.
Was that like an appropriate consolation of, oh, you got robbed at gunpoint? Well, you get a free night here at the White Lotus. You get one night for free. We'll
One
take
night free? I feel like the whole stay should be comped.
If she gets the whole stay comped, is that good enough, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What about, should she be getting free meals?
Is it all inclusive?
I guess my question is like incidentals. Are they paying for incidentals? Should she have to? I feel like you get robbed at the hotel. I don't think you have to pay anything.
Do you ever see anybody get a bill at the White Lotus?
Yeah, because didn't Theo James like stiff the Italian ladies with the bill after stiffing them with the other thing?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
I think it's possible.
So Rick and Greg are going to have some interactions, and they both do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
A little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a pinch of Cento. That's the secret to their wives' bolognese. Yeah, do they both dabble in the same this and that? Are there thises and that's the same thises and that's, or are they like talking about different thises and that's?
Yeah, I think that they're both some kind of grifters.
What kind of grifters do you think? Well, we know what kind of grifter Gary is. What kind of grifter is?
Well, he can't go to Australia,
right? Is that because he brought weed and so he learned his lesson not to bring weed?
No, I think he's some kind of like
he's Rick Hatchet is a hatchet
savory
man.
character.
Yeah. Rick the Hatchet. So do you think that these are like two travelers, two fellow
kindred
travelers,
spirits,
on the same road? Are they going to be friends or foes? Do you
think I think that they will be allies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the only other thing that really comes up is, the relationship between Greg and Chloe, that they met from this matchmaking service in Dubai. And they have this little bit of a miscommunication about, is she French or French Canadian? Although she did work in Paris. She did model in France.
Does that make her French?
No, I don't think so. But later on in bed at the end of the episode, Chelsea and Rick will, have a conversation about them a little bit. And Chelsea is very taken with Chloe.
She loves Chloe.
She's so pretty. Walter Goggins says of her, she's a hooker.
She's a hooker. Yeah.
She's a hooker. And well, she's young and fun like me, and he's old and grumpy like you.
And bald and going bald. I'm not going.
And going bald. Yeah. Okay. So the Chloe.
Do you buy it? Do you buy it?
Do you buy it?
Do you buy it? Do you buy it? Do you buy it?
Do I buy what?
Do you buy
that she's a hooker?
They just met. That it was just like they met in Dubai, or is this with the copious funds that it appears Gary has accumulated?
Yeah, it seems like that there was some kind of like matchmaking service where Gary paid some money.
Yeah.
And then now has the company of Chloe to some degree.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. So what do we need? Just like next highest bidder, and we get Chloe out of there?
I don't know. Josh, let me just, and again, prostitutes, sex workers was a big part of season 2 of The White Lotus.
Yes.
But can I just say that 2 different times a hooker / prostitute was brought up in this episode? That the very out of pocket comment from Victoria that actors are basically prostitutes if they're lucky. And then we hear about Chloe as a hooker. Is she by proxy an actress?
Yeah, I think so. And so, well, do you mean that as a joke, or do you mean it seriously, as in like, is she part of some kind?
I think she maybe is she playing a part?
Did she have something?
Is she playing
to
a
do,
role?
Did she have something to do with the burglary? Because she's on my list of people who could have had something to do with the burglary.
Oh, interesting. She happened to be in the changing room
Correct.
while it happened.
She was there right at the right time to not be in the room for the burglary.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. We mentioned Guy Talk very quickly.
Guy Talk. I love Guy Talk and Mook. I want these crazy kids to figure this out. They're from the same town. The same town. She's smarter than him, but that's not that big of a deal.
Nicole said, friend zone.
Friend zone. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's possible, but it's also possible that this is just like, if there's to be a happy ending on this season of the White Lotus, may it be between Guy Talk and Mook. That's what we will
hope so.
We would hope
we'll keep our fingers crossed for them. That he wanted to have lunch with her, but then the lunch didn't go great. But then ultimately, do you think that he earned some sympathy from getting
him?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're so brave. You could have died. I think that's the kind of thing that can recalibrate and recontextualize. Is this just a friendship? Or is there something else here? I feel like Guy Talk's failing at maintaining the security of the White Lotus Thailand may have been the thing that finally makes Mook look at Guy Talk in a new light.
I was kind of worried he was going to get fired.
I was a little worried that he'd get fired as well. He seems like he's not been penalized at all for this.
No.
I feel like if I was his manager, I might be like, hey, Guy Talk, can I talk to you over here for a second? Just a quick second.
Yeah.
So you let the bad guys in, huh?
Yeah. Manager would like a word with you.
And like you let them out too? He's like, well, they were able to just brute force the barrier.
Yeah.
What was I supposed to do?
Josh, then let's quickly talk about Belinda. And Belinda, she's having this sort of like quid pro quo spa treatment with like a porn chai.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine energy here. Of let me make my best move on you, and then you can do your best moves on me. And so, are we just like, is this just professional? Is this a little beyond professional?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Belinda, at the very least, like we see porn chai walk in, and that dude looks like he just walked into a porn chai. There's like big bow chicka wow wow going on here. She is just like, she's hot for this man. And like with good reason.
How would you like me?
How would you like me? On my stomach or on my back? If you had to choose on your stomach or on your back to podcast, you like sitting and standing is not an option. You have to. Yeah,
I would.
You're on your back or you're on your stomach?
No, on my stomach.
Yeah, because like you put your head through like the massage table hole and you position the microphone right under there.
Yeah, I just think on my back, I think is just like
Well, you could like boom mic it down into your face.
Yeah, I don't think you can project from that.
No, I think you go belly down, face in the spa table hole, mic on mic stand, boost it up towards your face and in face hole. And now because like you're speaking down at the wooden floor, volume bouncing back up to cushy. I bet that her audio would be unbelievable. I bet that the podcast audio would be really good if maybe I should try a stomach down pod. Do I have your permission to seek this out?
Sure. Is it going to be this podcast or is it like one of the other ones that you do?
It sounds to me like you would prefer it not to be on this one. So
I think you could workshop it on some of the other shows.
I'll test it out on a lesser podcast. I'm not on any of those though, so it'll be a few years.
All right. Are we going to see Guy Talk hang out with Valentine?
Ooh, yeah. So Valentine offers Guy Talk a bit of a boys' night out sort of situation, right? Like he's kind of like they're trying to hang. Yeah, I think unless this is all just like here because we're just like trying to set up Guy Talk. So I don't know. Valentine being in on this would be a very bad would be very bad for the hang, I think. Don't go to the hang if Valentine is on the side of the anaconda snakes or the monitor lizards in the case of. Did you have any other animal observations? Lots more monkeys.
There was some like slow motion, like on the cicadas, on the monkeys.
We got some bugs crawling around. We got some more monkeys. When Lori bangs on the door early in the episode and jump scares Kate and Jacqueline, and she goes and she leaves, it's either Kate or Jacqueline who says, "I thought it was a monkey," and then we cut to one of the monkeys. And so on my monkeys with machine guns theory expansion board, just to push it further, let's add data points as we get them, right? We thought it was a human doing those gunshots in the first episode. What if it was a monkey?
Yeah.
Says, I thought it was a monkey banging on the door. This is a human making loud noises? Strike that, reverse it. Get to the finale. We're going to see. Yeah. We're going ape on the White Lotus.
I think that perhaps a monkey could fire a gun once. Like, I don't see like a Planet of the Apes type situation where either multiple monkeys are firing guns or a monkey is firing a gun. I think a monkey fires a gun once, that monkey's out of there.
Right. And that's how I know meditation's not working for you, because you got to open your mind. Open that third eye and you'll be able to see the Planet of the Apesing, the Planet of the Apesification of the White Lotus.
Could be James Franco under the mask.
There was a statue of the Buddha with a monkey face. That's basically the Statue of Liberty with a monkey face.
Yeah, damn you, dirty apes. Yeah. Okay. Josh, this is the end of day 2 at the White Lotus. In terms of our day 3 preview, Walton Goggins says he may need to go to Bangkok for a night or two. Does that happen on day 3?
If it happens on day 3, it happens at night. So I think that we would probably get him for. We're not going to lose him. Right.
Is he going to go off on a side quest for? I mean, we kind of had that in White Lotus season 2, where we went to like off on some like to go.
Tanya went off on her thing. Yeah,
with the gays.
I hope so. Bangkok as captured by Mike White and HBO would be dope. Bangkok's a crazy city. To get to see that on HBO would be awesome. I'm hopeful. I think Walton Goggins as our entry point into the city, the biggest city in Thailand, would be awesome. So I hope so. I would really like to see that.
Yeah. What about for the rest of our White Lotus guests? Are they staying at the resort, or do you see them leaving?
Like a full group trip to Bangkok?
I don't know if we're all going to go to Bangkok, or are we going to go on any side trips, or are we going to stay at the resort?
I hope that we do some side trips. There's so many beautiful places that they can go, and they're in the islands right now. So, they could go. I forget the name of the island where they shot The Beach, the Leonardo DiCaprio film, but they could go there. It's pretty close by. Yeah. They could go and find the beach. That's where Walton Goggins could find some weed, by the way, if he's looking.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever beach? Did you see the beach?
No.
You're fine. Your life is totally okay.
Is Greg gonna wingman with Rick to Bangkok?
Ooh, the boys are back in town. Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see Greg go to Bangkok. I'd like to see Greg go to Bangkok. I think that'd
also
be great.
Sets up potentially when the cat's away that maybe Chloe ends up finding Saxon.
Yes, and having Saxon is a possibility. Saxon's a college kid. He's the horniest person I've ever seen on television. His friends absolutely call him Saxon, right? Like, that's happened before.
Such an unusual name, Saxon.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered another Saxon?
I think that this is my first Saxon. I think.
On the White Lotus, has Mike White ever done anything with the characters' names? They have like double meaning.
Okay, well, let's try and look. Let's say yes. Let's just say yes without any backup, because I don't remember the previous seasons well enough. But if that's the case, Rick's last name Hatchet, appropriately sharp. He's a hatchet man. I suspect that would mean he kills somebody by the end of the season.
Greg Hunt.
He's a hunter. Yeah, he hunts. He hunts for the. He's like Joan Cusack in Addams Family Values, except with much less hair, and probably never wanted to be ballerina Barbie. I think would have been perfectly fine with Malibu Barbie. Victoria, she's used to being victorious.
Yeah.
Piper, is she the Pied Piper? It's her
Yeah.
desire to come to Thailand that led everybody here. Saxon loves having Saxon. Lachlan seems to be locked up.
I don't think that there's been the names are too on the nails. I think that
that's what we're here for, though. We gotta figure it out. We got Timothy could mean anything. Timothy's wide open.
Yep. Okay.
But Ratliff, just a bunch of rats. Is that sort of?
Yeah.
You know,
rats on a sinking ship.
They're living that rat life. Yeah, rats on a sinking ship. That's exactly right. It's exactly right.
Okay. Anything else from episode 2 of The White Lotus?
Not off the top of my list. Just scrolling through the rest of my notes.
The bigger the front, the bigger the back.
I'm enjoying it. I'm it's a little bit of a slow burn, but I feel like that's such a weird thing to say about a show that had a robbery in the middle of it. So like I actually don't know. Like if it's a slow burn, then like it's already a fairly warm fire. And I'm enjoying getting to know the characters more. I think that's the challenge with any season of White Lotus. We got to get to know these people a little better, but I feel like I'm starting to, which is great. Very fun.
We love The White Lotus. It is event television. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's great. We are having the best time. I will say that in the first season, when there was 6 episodes, that I do feel like that we got into things a little bit faster.
A little faster.
And maybe now that we have so many, now we have 8 episodes.
Yeah.
That maybe that it's just that I know we're going to get there eventually.
Yes.
But
I have a thought. I have an idea. Can I pitch you on what would help maybe fix this?
But we love it's so
we love the White
good.
Lotus. We love the White Lotus. If I could pitch you on an idea, and this again is just a thought. Shorter season, longer episodes, 90-minute episodes. Should we be do we reduce the amount of days spent?
Well, I think that
for
for the powers that be at the max, I think that they want people subscribing for the White Lotus for as many weeks as possible. I think that they would probably like, hey, 10-minute episodes, 47 weeks.
Yeah, it's so funny you should say that because we also want you to subscribe to We Know Scripted TV.
And who are we to judge?
.com. And who are we to judge? You got to run up those subscriber numbers, baby, because if you don't subscribe, you're going to miss all of our blistering, incredibly thoughtful severance.
They're trying to kill us.
The tastemakers, we're Taryn and Grace are talking TV every single week. We've got Daredevil coverage on the way. Lots happening on WeKnowScriptedTV.com. If you enjoyed this White Lotus podcast,
you need us. You need your family.
Yeah. Podcasters, are they like prostitutes?
They don't have good values.
Are podcasters like prostitutes if we're lucky?
In some ways, yeah.
Wow.
I guess so. Yeah.
Does that make you our pimp?
Yeah, I'm the head podcaster.
Yeah.
So the other one.
You're like a pimp who like goes out into the field, though.
Yeah.
Like, you own the brothel and you participate.
Yeah. Like a Heidi Fleiss type.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're not scammers.
We're schemers.
Okay. All right. Stay on your guard. All right. Josh Wigler, what else is coming up for you?
All of what I've just said, the Severance podcasting. Survivor is right around the corner. Mike White's true favorite show is just around the corner. There's going to be incredible coverage here on RHAP of Survivor 48. For the patrons only of RHAP, which you can become one, Rob has a website.com/patron. Rob and I are going back in time and recapping a different season of Survivor. We are revisiting Survivor Heroes versus Villains, episode by episode, week by week, and we are very young in it, so it's early days. We are up to episode 3 this coming week. If you're a Survivor fan, if you love Heroes versus Villains especially, and you're not a patron of RHAP yet, you should become one to listen to that pod. We're having a great time.
Okay. And if you want to hear me talk about one of my other favorite scripted TV shows around. Chappelle and I are hanging with Hulu as I'm talking about Paradise. And it's not quite as nice as some of the White Lotuses that we've gotten to see, but Paradise on Hulu, big recommend for me. Just got renewed for season 2, baby.
No kidding.
And so check that out.
The RHAP bump in effect.
Hanging with Hulu in our We Know Scripted TV podcast feed. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We love to read your comments and see your theories of what's going on here on the White Lotus here on our YouTube channel. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.